Welcome back, folks. Welcome to Heysham. This is going to be another night session for you. Over low water, we're out on Half Moon Bay, a mark that I've wanted to fish for a while now. Conditions are pretty good, I'll be honest. The main reason for coming up here, well, there's three reasons actually. I'll be completely open and honest with you. Fishing is not one of them. Well, it's the last reason. So first and foremost, I wanted to come up and have a look at some wet weather gear. Gerrys have got in stock the Vass winter fishing clothing, which if you've watched for a while, you've known I've been bleating on about having a look at, and I've actually bought a full set. Now I haven't got it on today because I didn't know how boggy it was going to be, so I've opted for waders, and it's a fairly mild night. Now there is a bit of a southerly southeasterly wind, probably southeasterly, so it's coming sort of over the top of the camera, straight in my face, making my eyes water, making my nose run. But hopefully you guys can't hear it. It's going to be gusting probably up to 20 miles an hour. The other reason is managed to get my hands on one of these. So one of the Akios lads has lent me their Airtorque, and again, if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that this is a rod I've been wanting to get my hands on for quite a while. It's recently just come back into stock. I've been thinking about getting one, and he says, well, before you buy one, pop up, I'll lend you mine. So Matty, thank you very much. And then I guess the third reason is, if you'll remember, Heysham wall just behind us is where I had my first ever Huss. We're into the middle of autumn now. It's still too early as far as I'm concerned to go chasing cod, but I want to get into some nice Huss. I want to try and get into some congers. So I thought, right, let's kick off the Huss campaign, come up here, trial my new rod, potential new rod, sort out some wet weather winter gear because pretty soon I'm going to be freezing on every session, and see if we can't get a few nice Huss. There's also chance of rays. A couple of the lads have been fishing this week and said there's the odd ray still coming out up here, but I think Huss and more than likely doggies. But yeah, so that's why we're up at Heysham today. It's a bit of a random one, but there is methods behind my madness. Is that the word, or have I lost the plot completely? Anyway, I've got my reasons. Right, well, I've got the second rod set up. This is just how far. I've just moved the box down close towards the water's edge. That is how far the tide has gone out in the 15 minutes it's taken me to get that rod set up. Why does my ear look so crooked? Yeah, the tide is absolutely licking out. I forgot to mention, but low water is at 7 p.m. We got here for, well, I got here for about 3:30. Sat in the van for a little bit. I've been told 2 hours down, 2 hours back up. But I wanted to see what the lay of the land's like, because if you've seen when I fish the North Wall, there's a big gully loops in at the back of here under the wall, which could cut us off. Now, 3 hours before low water, I started walking out and the gully was completely empty. I am not going to be fishing any more than 2 hours back up, for exactly those reasons. But another good reason is it's set to piss down at 10 o'clock and I want to be off here by then. If I can avoid getting wet, I will do. But yeah, so just a bit of safety when fishing low water marks. Like I say, I always like to try and come out. Somebody down there in a high vis, and I can't tell if they're setting up to go fishing or if they're just digging worms. Yeah, just a bit of a safety thing. So like I say, I've come down the beach just before 3 hours before low water, and I know I can walk straight down. That gully had completely emptied out, completely gone. I won't be fishing here any more than 2 hours after low water, and that's because a lot of people have recommended it to me as well. If it was a mark that I wasn't aware of or whatever, and I could get down here 3 hours before low water, I'd probably fish it an hour back up, just to make sure, you know, if anything happens, I trip over and dust my ankle, you know, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But at least then you've got plenty of time. You don't have to be panicking if you realise you've left something on the beach, or for some reason you start struggling. You've got plenty of time. You know you're not going to get cut off. You know you're not going to get wiped out by the incoming tide. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me. I'm going to go fetch the rods down and probably rebait the air power, because I mean I did wade out, but that, I mean my bait's probably about 30 yards out into there now. Right then, first cast with the Airtorque then. Now I don't know about anybody else, but my first casts are always rather tentative. First thing first is just how soft that tip is. That feels a lot softer, from memory anyway, than the airspeed. A lot softer, but it's supposed to have 20% more power. So yeah, tentative, but it loads up quite nice. So I do feel like there was a lot more reserve, and I could give it a lot bigger chuck than I just have done. So that's it, both rods are out, we are set up, we are fishing. Let me just show you really quickly the difference between the two tips. So the Airtorque is the one closest to you, the one that I'm about to tighten down, and you can see that bends sort of all the way through. Maybe you can't see it in the GoPro actually, maybe that's a bad camera angle, but it does seem to bend a lot more through this top tip section. And the second rod, the air power at the back, if I tighten that one down, maybe you can see that, maybe you can't, but it bends. There's a lot less give in the top, like the third section, and it's more sort of there where it bends and gives. Anyway, both rods are out, time to sit down and enjoy it. Oh, actually, maybe it's time to get the raincoat on. Yeah, maybe I'll do that first, then we'll sit and enjoy ourselves a bit. Anyway, welcome back, welcome to the show. We're set up with fishing. Hopefully we're going to see plenty of fish tonight. Well folks, that's not a bad little starter, is it? Look at that for a nice little thornback ray. Cracking little fish. I thought I saw a couple of knocks, but the wind's blowing an absolute hoolie. I tightened down, we moved the rods down yet again. Tightened down and I thought, you know what, I'm probably only in about 6 inches of water. And just as I tightened down, saw it start to move, and yeah, there we go. Lovely little thornback ray to start the day. Right, well, tails are up after that. Just rebaited, obviously I rebaited the pulley panel. I've just rebaited that 2-up flapper as well, and punched them out. Well, the 2-up flapper I've kept in relatively close. I say relatively close, it was a good chuck, but I didn't wade out. With the pulley panel I've waded out and then cast out as well. So yeah, we've got one as long as I can get, and then one slightly closer in. And I'm sat here debating whether or not I swap that 2-up clip down rig for a pulley panel. I don't know what it looks like in the GoPro. It is still daylight. I say daylight, we're probably past sunset. What time are we on? We are on 6 o'clock, so we've got an hour till low water. So we've probably got 3 hours of fishing. Sunset 6:06. So, I mean, I know I said it's 6 o'clock, but it's 8 minutes past 6. So officially the sun has set. God, I talk some bollocks, don't I? Yeah, it's a lot of waffle to say. I think for the time being I'm going to stick with a 2-up flapper and a panel rig. For fuck's sake. I'm just letting you guys into all the noise that's going on in my brain, and how much when I'm fishing I debate exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, the recap of that is I got giddy having caught that first ray, debated switching to 2 panel rigs, decided that I'm going to stay with a pulley panel rig and a tilt clip down flapper jobby. We've got an hour till low water, it's going dark. Thanks for listening to all that spiel. I'll do my best to chop it down. Talking of waffling on, I realised I haven't asked you guys how you're all doing recently, which is rather shoddy of me. I've been doing alright. I think I mentioned it in a couple of videos. Peaks and troughs as always. But yeah, no, towards the end of this year I've managed to get, towards the end of the summer I managed to get quite a few jobs off my to-do list. There's a couple of big ones that I want to get done by the end of the year. But yeah, I hope you're all doing alright. As always, there's loads of help you can get. Talk to your mates, talk to your friends, family. The amount of people I bump into as well, it's quite nice actually. I like I say, I'm not trained, it does put me on the spot a little bit, and I always worry that I'm going to say something. But the amount of people who come up to me when I'm out fishing and say, thanks for talking about mental health, and it's helped them open up and talk about it, that is all I really aim to do, to be honest. Like I say, I'm not trained in mental health issues. Possibly somebody with training maybe watched some of the videos back and gone, ooh, shouldn't say that. But yeah, please just open up, talk about it. Everybody suffers. It's perfectly fine to suffer. Some people have a day where they feel shit. Might be a week, might be a month, could be several months. I've had periods in the past where I've just suffered with burnout and just couldn't be bothered to get out of bed for weeks and months on end. Like I say, I'm doing pretty well now, and that hopefully just goes to show that it's not forever. And if you're willing to accept that you're struggling, talk to people, and maybe even get a bit of support, counselling, guidance. I've said it before, the way that I find I cope better with stuff like this is just to write all the stuff down that's bothering me, and then the stuff that's outside of my control, cross it off, and instantly in your mind, in my mind anyway, this is how it works for me, is instantly as I cross it off, it's like a switch in my head where I just go, yeah, it's outside of my control, what am I worrying about that for? There's nothing I can do about it. Then my next biggest piece of advice is look at the ones that you think are in your control and pick the easy ones, because 2 or 3 little easy wins can really make a massive impact on your mental health, and it gets the ball rolling to start making changes elsewhere as well. Anyway, that is probably 16 minutes I've sat here and waffled on, holding on to the camera because it's going to blow away. Yeah, 16 minutes I've waffled on for now. I'll try and cut that down into something that's marginally entertaining for you. Some days, right, I pick up this camera and say 3 or 4 words, and I come to edit a video and I'm like, Jesus, come on Alex, you've not given me much here to work with. Other days, like today, I am doing non-stop verbal diarrhea. So it's probably taken me about 6 or 8 hours to edit this video down into something that's not going to bore the life out of your... Well, it was always going to happen at some point, wasn't it? Doggy! Yeah, first doggy of the night, probably not the last either. Hopefully get him back and find some big old Huss instead. Right then folks, hopefully you can see me alright. I'm going to stick with the GoPro for a little bit. We'll try the phone and the mic set up there a little bit later on, but we are dead on low water, dead on low water. There's been absolutely nothing come on the Airtorque, on the flapper rig, on the worm baits. So what I've done is I've swapped that out now, or we're on a dongle rig. So I've got dongle rigs and I'm going to use just small ray baits on there, and then on the air power I've got, what have I got on there at the minute? Half a mackerel, for hopefully big angry Huss. The further and further we've come down here, the windier and windier it's got, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the rod tips banging around in the wind. All the damage has been done on the panel, on the air power. So let's see, now that we've got that dongle on there, let's see if we can catch up with the Airtorque. Well folks, we've had to make us first move back. We are about half hour after low water now. I've just put fresh baits out, both rods are rebaited. We've had a couple more doggies. I haven't brought them back for camera. I'm sure you've seen plenty of doggies in your time if you've fished anywhere in the UK before. But yeah, other than that, it's fairly slow going. I haven't seen the lad next to me have anything. So far we're doing all right, but I would just like a nice Huss. If I can bag a Huss on this mark, I will be over the moon. Because yeah, I came here for Huss, potentially rays. I've got the ray, I just need the Huss now. So that's where we're at. Apologies, like I say, I'm not sure what the audio is going to be like. I don't know if I'm shouting, I don't know if the wind noise is bad. We're just going to try using my phone and yeah, see what we can do. I don't know if you'll be able to see down there. Let me switch my headlamp on. Lado's coming up here. So I'll turn this off and bring you back. Right, we're back at the van, and this is the third time I'm recording this outro because I don't know why. Well, the first time the lens was all blurry and I can't be having that. Second time, God knows where I got to, but I've spilled off loads of stuff, so I'll keep this short. Tide was pushing in at a right rate of knots, and there's some bloke wandering around my van. Have I parked in a dogging spot? Oh, maybe. Oh, exciting. Anyway, I digress, as always. Yeah, tide was pushing in. We fished till an hour and a half after low water. I don't mind moving back and, you know, rebaiting, moving the rods back, moving your box back, rebaiting, moving the rods back, blah, blah, blah. But that was literally move the box back 30 yards, move the rods back 30 yards, move the rod back, box back, move the rods back. At one point I tried rebaiting a rod, and by the time I'd rebaited and cast out, the water was already back up to my box, and I'm not about that game. The bloke next to me, he wrapped up about half an hour after low water, and like I say, a new mark, low water, in the dark. I didn't fancy risking it, plus the fishing wasn't exactly brilliant, was it? So yeah, we packed up and got the hell out of there. No danger at all. Just want to point that out before people get at me in the comments. You've probably got another hour or so until we get cut off, but it just wasn't fun. I've got a 3.5 hour drive home. I'm hungry, and yeah, I just called it at that. Another little session in the bag though, on another new mark, and another session, funnily enough, where first cast fish, then a couple of doggies, and it went eerily quiet. Maybe if I lived closer, this channel would just be a load of 5-minute videos of first cast fish, but with a 6-hour round trip, that's just not viable. But yeah, lovely little thornback ray, and a couple of doggies. So not a bad little session. No Huss, which is what I really wanted to get into up here. So I think the next couple of visits, next couple of sessions, will just be targeting Huss. So if you've got any suggestions, any marks that you want to share, drop them in the comments or drop me a message, Facebook, Instagram, etc. So autumn, double figure Huss. Winter, double figure cod, double figure conger, and if I can get 2 out of 3 of those, I will be absolutely over the moon. So thank you for watching. Like I said earlier in the video, I hope you're all doing all right. If you're not, please do reach out, get help. There's nothing wrong at all with telling people that you're struggling. Everybody goes through it. I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care and tight lines. Has that recorded? Yes, we are out of here.